In this video, we will look at how to set up a development environment on our computers. We discussed this question in the previous tutorial and we concluded that we need a programming language and an IDE to be able to write computer programs. And the programming language we'll use is the Python programming language, and the IDE is the PyCharm IDE developed by JetBrains. If you are familiar with any other IDE and you know how to use it well, you can use it to follow along. Other than that, let us all install the PyCharm IDE and take it up from there. So we look at how to download these two and set them up properly on our computers. So using your favorite search engine, you can search for Python download. And then we are looking for the site, the URL that has this, that looks like this, python.org/downloads. Here we will see that the latest release at the time this video is being recorded is Python 3.11.1, but I am not looking for that version. If you want that version, you can download it, there's no problem. I'm looking for a specific release, so I'll come to this section. And I'm looking for the Python 3.8.8. No reason, I just like that version. So yes, here it is. And then I'll click on it. It will take me to the Python 3.8.8 page. And you can read through all this for all the updates if you want to. And let's scroll down here to where we see files. This is the files that we can download. So depending on your operating system, it will recommend some version for you to download. I am on Windows 64-bit, and so it is recommending that I download this one. So I'll click on this link here, and then the download should start automatically. You can see up here that it is downloaded. And so let us also go now and then download the PyCharm IDE. Again, we can change this Python to PyCharm. And then this first link is what we are looking for, the one that has jetbrains.com. Click on it and it will take us to the PyCharm download page. Here we can see that there are 3 operating systems here, so make sure that you're on the particular tab that has your operating system. And there are 2 versions here. There's a professional and then there's the community. The professional has a 30-day free trial, after which you be paying some amount, but the community version is completely free. So you download the community version for the purpose of this tutorial, because it has all we need to get started and get going. So we click this download button and then wait for it also to download. So I'll pause the video and allow it to finish downloading, then we continue from there. This is my download folder that has the 2 files fully downloaded. So we will install the Python first, then the PyCharm IDE. You can double click on the installer to install it, start the installation process. On this screen, just make sure that you check this box that says add Python 3. In my case, 8 to path. If you downloaded a different version, it will have that version number there. And then we click install now. It shouldn't take so long. It should install Python onto your system. So setup is successful. As you can see the message up here. And this place is telling us to disable path length. You can choose to click on it to disable the path length. You can also leave it and it will still work. So let's close this dialog and then double click on our PyCharm also to start the installer. So this is the installation window. Here we just choose next and we can leave this installation folder to default and choose next. And then to this place, you can choose to create a shortcut on your desktop. And then you can also, in this context menu, that means if we check this box, when we right click inside any folder, instead of this view, sort by, and group by, we will also see an option here that says open this folder as a PyCharm community project. So if we check that box, then we will have that functionality added to our folders. I would like that to be added, so I'll check the box. And then you can choose to leave the rest. This means that associate all.py files. The .py just means that it's a Python file, and that means that PyCharm will open all Python files. I will also leave that one unchecked, and I only need this one, but if you need the rest, you can choose to take them also. And then this place, you can choose default and next, and in a small time, it will also install PyCharm onto your computer. PyCharm is done installing, and this box says we can choose to run PyCharm, and that is exactly what we are going to do. Take a look at the interface and familiarize ourselves with it, and probably write our first line of code. So this window pops up because it's the first time we are running the software with their JetBrains community terms telling us to read carefully and accept all the user agreements. So we'll confirm to that, and then we'll be able to continue to the software. Here you can choose to, but I'll not send for now. And then give it some small time, and then the IDE will open for us to explore. So this is the window that opens, and you can see that it's very blank. We don't have any projects, even at the projects tab. But we can choose to either create a new project, open one which is already existing, or get one from VCS, which is the version control systems. Whatever that one is, we'll get to know later in this tutorial series. And so we will go ahead and then click on new project, and then here it will try to create a project in a default directory for us, but you can go ahead and then change the folder at this point. So let's say you have a particular folder somewhere on your desktop you want to use, you can use that one, but I'll use this one as default for now. And then in here, it says Python interpreter. The interpreter is the Python software we installed on our machines just a while ago. So here we can leave it as default. And it's telling us that it will create a virtual environment for us. Whatever that one is, we will get to know later. But if you don't want a virtual environment, which is also Python in itself, we can come to previously configured interpreter. And as we can see, there's no interpreter here because this is the first time that we are running the software. We can click on it, and then there is no interpreter also to select. But we can come here to add interpreter and then choose local interpreter and allow PyCharm to search our system. We want a system interpreter, not a virtual environment. So come, and since that is the default Python interpreter on our system, we see that Python 3.8, which is 3.8, is selected. We can click OK. But if you're wondering why we are not using the virtual environment for now, don't worry, there will be another tutorial explaining what a virtual environment is and when you actually need one. You can choose to check this one off. I'm doing that specifically, and I'll tell you why in a short while. So after you are done with all the settings here, you can click on create to create the project. And a PyCharm project is just like a folder that has files in it. And that is the project. So I'll go ahead and maximize the full screen. And so this is where we'll be doing our programming stuff. And then we can see that this is the name of the project because we didn't change it. I told you that the project is just a folder. So this is the name of the project. It's created it in my C drive somewhere. And then we can see that there is a blank space here with some text here. This is where we'll be writing our code actually. But because we have not created any file, we don't have access to the editor. So if the interface looks a little confusing, don't worry. We'll quickly go over the parts that we will need, at least for now. Then we will take it over from there. So up here we have our menu items. You can click on them Most of the times, this is where we even come from the file side and then probably the run side to run our programs. Here we can create new files and new projects. But since we already have a project here, we will focus on that one for now. So where you see project, this project tab, this side, the side which is highlighted is where we will create and manage our files. This is where you see all our project files. They'll be listed here. For now, we have no project file, so it's empty. And then this big space, I've told you this is where we will type our code, but it's still empty for now. Very soon you'll see some code there. And then there are some tabs also down here: version control, to do problems, terminal, Python packages, Python console, and then services. The ones that we'll be using a lot will be the terminal, which is the place that the result of our code will show. So if we type something here and we run our code or we execute it, this is where we will see the output. But for now, there is nothing there, so I'll go ahead and minimize it. And then how to create a new file. You just right click on the particular folder, and in this case it's the project itself, and then you choose new from this pop-up, and then you can see that there's a lot of things we can create. Default file like a flat file, or we can choose to also create a Python file. And then here you type the name of the file, and then we hit enter. So I choose to call it main. You can call it first, whatever you prefer. You hit enter, and then it will create the file here at the project side, and then it will open it also in the editor. Let me go ahead and minimize this space a little. And so this is our interpreter. You can see that after we created a file, it has now allowed us a place that we can actually type something there, and then we'll see the display also. So the first program of every programming language is called the Hello World program, where we just type print hello world, kind of test the program or something like that. And so when we type print hello world like this, we can right click, and then in the pop-up you see run, and then the name of the file in quotes. So we can click on this one, and then our terminal, as I said, will open up, and then we will see hello world printed onto our terminal. And then we can choose to change this world to anything. So hello code base, and then we right click, we run again, and then this time around it will change to hello code base. So congratulations, you just wrote your first program in Python. I know it's not so much, but at least it's an achievement. In the tutorials that follow, learn the basics of the language and how to implement those basics in softwares and big projects. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.